Hi, I'm Shane, and welcome to the Starwaves Explorer TV series. On today's program, we're going to be exploring sharks and coral reefs all throughout Asia, and we're going to check out some really cool new ocean technology. Now, this program is interactive with the internet, so go now to your computers, log on to starwaves.tv. Here's what's coming up next in the show.
The Starwaves team goes to a remote area in the Philippines to dive with an unusual shark seldom seen, an exciting encounter with the thresher shark. Could the cure for cancer and AIDS be hiding in the ocean? Scientists think so. Our expedition team travels to Malaysia to discover animals that are helping mankind. And explore the extreme deep with remote vehicles that dive thousands of meters below the ocean. All that and more on the Explorer series.
Establishing, connecting, receiving video signal.
Hi, I'm Pauline, and welcome to Seatropolis, a deep-sea scientific research base on the ocean floor. We're here in the Habitat's main control room, which monitors all activities, such as our divers, subs, and the marine environment. I'll be communicating with our expedition team on the TV show, providing you with scientific data and any additional information about the ocean. But before we get started, let's find out how you can also communicate live with the program, answer questions, or chat during the show. The way to interact is through your cell phone, through SMS, or short messaging service. Check the bottom of the screen for the local phone number to call, or go to our starwaves.tv website. Throughout the show, we'll be asking questions related to our program, SMS in your answers to win a prize, and be entered into a grand prize trip for 4 family members to Tokyo Disneyland. Also, keep an eye out for our little friend Gink Man. There he is. See you later. The next time you see him on the show, SMS in GINK, and the first 100 messages will win a special prize.
To answer the SMS quiz or poll and win a vacation trip for 4 people to Tokyo Disneyland, watch the scrolling text below for your local numbers to call, or go to starwaves.tv. Did you know? The mako shark is one of the fastest creatures in the ocean. It reaches speeds of 40 to 50 kilometers per hour and can jump clear of the water up to 5 meters. During capture, some species of pregnant sharks have been observed aborting their unborn pups.
Our planet is 3/4 water. Our bodies are 90% water, and we even spend the first 9 months of life floating in water. There's no wonder that the ocean is not nature's greatest medicine cabinet. Now, right here at the National University of Singapore, some really cool research is going on marine organisms and cures that are being developed from some of these marine creatures. This sea fan, which is common on coral reefs, is currently being studied here at NUS for some of its anti-tumor properties. Now, as our rainforests decrease, the ocean becomes probably one of our last real frontiers for the discovery of some of these new cancer and AIDS drugs. That's what makes the conserving of our marine environment so vitally important. Now, marine life sciences is definitely one of the coolest new areas of research. Next on the show, we're going to be traveling to a coral reef from Malaysia and check out some marine life and see how they're helping us fight some of the planet's deadliest diseases.
When researchers are looking for new compounds to study, a team is sent out to collect specimens from different ecosystems. For this bioprospecting expedition, oceanographer Professor Joe Valensic leads the Starwaves team to the island of Tioman in Malaysia.
Joe, we got some exciting things to explore down there. What's on the agenda?
Shane, we're going to look at a lot of animals that have potential therapeutic value. In other words, they have toxins which can be used for drugs from the sea. But also we'll be talking about some unusual fish. Now fish, we said, have protection in a number of different ways. They have hard armor plate, they have spines connected with them, and they also have some toxins. Now many of the pufferfish we know are poisonous to eat, but this fish is unique. It has a different protective mechanism.
He's up to something.
Which is?
With that, I think it is definitely time to get wet.
Let's go diving.
Let's go diving.
Okay, we're descending down onto the coral reef. We'll be in about 30 to 40 feet of water. Joe, we're going to do a little exploring, so you go right, I'll go left, and I'll see you a little bit later, okay? Okay. This exciting new field of marine life sciences is enabling us to share in the unlimited potential that the ocean has to help mankind. There's millions and millions of undiscovered life forms here in the ocean. So just think of the reef as one massive medicine cabinet full of all kinds of treasures.
The wall that we have here is a living wall of corals. Most of the stuff that we're seeing, at least on the outside, is a soft coral, known as an octocoral. Octa meaning 8. It actually has 8 tiny tentacles in each one of its palms. The coral on the back, hard, stony corals. And in this case, they have a calcium carbonate exoskeleton. Each one of those round areas, looking like about the size of a small circle, is an individual animal. Walls like this, vertical walls, live corals on them, are healthy because they have the right environmental conditions. And those conditions are primarily temperature. This coral cannot live below a certain temperature, and above a certain temperature they also die. But within a very narrow range, these corals do very well.
Let's scan the chemistry of the ocean where Shane and Joe are diving and take a closer look at the conditions which the coral reef there are living in. Water temperature, 30 degrees. Salinity, 33 parts per thousand. Acid and oxygen levels, normal. Visibility, fair. All systems show a healthy reef environment for coral growth. As long as we humans don't injure this reef, such as snorkelers or divers breaking off coral for souvenirs, boat anchors crushing it, or oil spills, this beautiful reef should continue being a rich laboratory for life science research.
Scientists are just beginning to unravel the mysteries of some of the very, very complex toxins and poisons that are manufactured by reef animals. New painkillers, for example, the cone snail, which we'll be looking for today, is one of the reef creatures that is producing a form of poison that is helping develop a painkiller that is really helping improve the lives of many terminally ill patients.
Well, Shane, looks like on this beautiful reef down here, we found one of our first animals that we're looking at. This is a cone shell, aptly named because of its tapered bottom, almost like an ice cream cone. This is actually a mollusk, a soft-bodied animal closely related to the snails. It has a toxin, a poison harpoon on a nose called a proboscis. This shell is dead, so I'm not afraid to touch it. And this toxin, if extracted correctly, is up to 1,000 times more powerful than even morphine is a painkiller. So the little animal that you're seeing here, the conch shell, is one of man's best and most interesting ways for potential drugs from the sea.
We're down here visiting with our little friend, the clownfish, hiding amongst the stinging tentacles of the anemone. Hey, little guy. Or is it a little girl? I don't know. They don't have any problem getting a date on a Friday night because they have the ability to change sex from male to female. Anyway, let's go find Uncle Joe. He's out there exploring the reef somewhere. Let's see what kind of new treasures he's unearthed, okay? Let's go check it out.
One of the simplest animals is the sponge. Sponges have very interesting toxins connected with them. These toxins, in certain cases, have prevented or minimized tumors in laboratory animals. It's really amazing when you think about all the diversity of animals. When we look at all our soft corals, all of the anemones, what potential we have for science and medicine just here in the shallow oceans of the world.
We've had an incredible dive today, and we've learned so much about the exciting new area of marine life sciences. Professor Joe, thanks a lot.
How many kilometers per hour can the fastest shark swim? SMS your answers in now. To have your SMS messages and comments displayed live during the program, which also qualifies you to win prizes, check the scrolling text below for your local numbers to call or go to starwaves.tv.
You know, the next time you have trouble logging on the internet, don't blame your computer, because the problem just might be 1,000 meters below the ocean. Now that's where these fiber optic lines are buried, and they carry the internet. Millions of dollars a minute can be lost when these lines break down, in addition to your email. That's when special robots like this, called an ROV, are called into action. We're at a real cool company here in Singapore. It's called Sonsub. Now they specialize in fixing things that are way down deep in the ocean, and they do it by flying in robots. This is really dangerous work, but I tell you, these guys are the best. Let's take a look.
The ROV is important for various phases of installations of pipelines and telecommunications equipment on the seabed. We're down at depths of over 2,000 meters now, and it's beyond manned diving limits. The ROV in the internet community is designed to bury the cables so that they're safe from trawling and other fishing activity, as well as some of the natural hazards of the underwater environment. And the control stick for the ROV is actually the same control stick as they use in fighter jets. This is the control for the Innovator system, which is a system rated for 3,500 meters. That's approaching full ocean depth. We can control the ROV in any direction. We can make it go up and down, sideways, left, right, turns, and anything but a barrel roll. This is the master arm for our spatially correspondent manipulator. It's a 7-function manipulator, and as I said, this is the master, meaning wherever this one goes, the slave, which is a much larger version on the submarine, follows the same action. And as we move the master controller around, the manipulator on the vehicle would follow in the same pattern. Now, it's not as dexterous as the human arm, but it is much more powerful. So we can lift as much as 250 pounds with the end of the manipulator. So the vehicle is used to protect and bury the cable, but in the chance that the vehicle or the cable is broken, the vehicle needs to go down to effect repairs to recover the cable back to the surface. Because when these cables are cut, there's millions of dollars an hour pouring out information as well as your email. Johnny?
On each episode of Starwaves, we introduce you to new types of really cool new ocean technology. Now, you've seen us underwater talking with these new special dive masks. Now, inside the mask, there's a little microphone. Now what this does, along with the headphones, it enables us to communicate with the surface. But here's what's really exciting. Now our dive team will be able to communicate with students and teachers right on their computers in the classroom. From sharks in Australia to whales in Hawaii, we'll transport you into remote environments live where you can be part of the action.
By combining diving technology, satellites, and high-speed internet, students all over the world can now participate in our interactive adventure learning program. To learn more about the topics featured on the show and how to use this program in the classroom for both science and English language instruction, go to starwaves.tv.
These thrusters can propel the ROV thousands of meters down into the ocean. But 400 million years of evolution has given a species of shark an even better propulsion device, a massive tail that also kills. Now we go on shark safari to the Philippines to encounter the very rare thresher shark. And you're going to see how just getting there was almost as unpredictable as diving with the sharks.
Anyway, welcome to the island of Cebu here in the Philippines. This is the beginning of our shark expedition. The adventure begins. Well, man, we made it. We finally got here to our secret location in Cebu, and tomorrow, thresher sharks.
I'd heard of the thresher shark before I came here. I'd never seen one. And we see them almost every day. We have biologists coming from around the world. They tell us this is the only place in the world you can see the sharks regularly with this kind of behavior.
5:45 in the morning. It's early. It's beautiful. First light of morning here. It's a gorgeous morning, and we are only about 30 minutes away from our first encounter with the mysterious predator of the deep, the thresher shark.
To encounter these rare animals, we must travel several kilometers out into the open ocean. Our destination? A seamount, rising up several hundred meters from the ocean depth to about 25 meters at the top. Now, currents out here can be quite strong, easily sweeping a diver away. We'll also descend as quickly as possible to avoid being vulnerable on the surface where there's sharks. Now, positioning the boat close to the edge of the seamount will make it easier for us to dive down to the shark cleaning station underwater. Diving 25 to 30 meters on air and fighting a strong current is going to limit our exploration to less than an hour before we risk decompression sickness, which can cripple or even kill a diver.
You know, sharks have been around for about 400 million years. Now, over that period of time, you'd expect some pretty strange and bizarre shapes to emerge. The thresher shark is one of those species. Here's what's interesting. Most sharks are associated with their jaws. This shark's prominent feature is a long and powerful tail, about 50% the length of his body.
Let's check our databanks for more information on these thresher sharks. Thresher sharks. First evidence in fossils about 5.5 million years ago. Average size, 2 to 6 meters. Average weight, 250 kilograms. Swim depth, 500 meters max. Estimated lifespan, 15 years. Warning, have been reported to attack small boats. Divers should be cautious in open water. No reported attacks on divers. You guys are going to be in the open ocean, so be careful.
Okay, think of it this way. When you see a shark that's 2 or 3 meters long in the ocean, that means that that shark has outlived probably thousands of other sharks. You don't get to be that big in nature by being careless. Sharks are extremely cautious, especially around humans.
The thresher shark makes its living in the chilling blackness of the ocean depths. For a brief period, they'll appear on top of the seamount, then they quickly disappear as the morning sun lights up the reef. This perfectly designed predator lives in a mysterious deep world of dark blues and purples at depths where the pressure would crush the human body.
Shane, I'm getting a dive alert signal. Your breathing and pulse rate have increased too rapidly since the sharks have appeared. At this rate, your air supply won't last long enough for you to track them at 40 meters. Lower your breathing rate to 5 to 6 breaths per minute.
Yeah, I understand. I'm going to try and lower my breathing rate right now. The current is a little strong down here, and I'm trying to get some shelter behind this one coral reef little patch here.
We see them only for about 2 hours in the morning. We see them come out, literally coming up out of the blue water onto this plateau, where they will then spend anything from 5 minutes to 45 minutes with cleaner fish around them, swimming in a small area, figures of 8. What they do in the previous 22 hours, little is known by anybody in the world.
This is fascinating, Shane. My sensors are showing that unlike the other fish in the area, this shark seems to be changing its body temperature. How weird. I began tracking it at a depth of 300 meters, and at that point, its body temperature was 3 degrees warmer than the ocean. Now it's changed again?
Yes, this is very, very interesting. Now what happens is that first, you have to remember the thresher shark lives about 300, 400, 500 meters way deep down in the ocean. At that deep level, the ocean is very, very cold. This is one way that the shark has to conserve its body heat. It actually keeps its body temperature, in some cases, about 3 degrees warmer than the actual outside ocean. We call this thermal regulation.
Now, let's see what kind of data we have on the shark's reproduction. Size at birth, 100 to 150 centimeters. Number of pups born, 2 to 7. Gestation period, no data. Cannibalism, yes. We have no data on the length of pregnancy because these sharks are so rare. They're hardly ever seen. What? They're cannibals? Shane, do they really eat each other?
Stick in the area here. You know, that's a really interesting question. What actually happens is that when the shark is born, it's born live inside the mother. The egg hatches, the newborn baby comes out, and, well, the firstborn and the strongest often devours its lesser developed brothers and sisters. So what happens is, nature has provided a first meal for the biggest and toughest. So when they enter their brand new world, they got a full tummy. Speaking of full tummy,
Shane, you're reaching low air levels. Soon you'll be breathing emergency air reserves. Also, the nitrogen in your blood is reaching a maximum level for this dive. Ascend to 3 meters to decompress for 5 minutes.
Okay, nitrogen is an extremely important thing. Diver always has to be aware of the level of nitrogen in their body. If we absorb too much underwater, when we come to the surface, we can have a major problem. That's why we have to decompress. Now I have to go up to a shallower depth of about 3 meters, and we'll wait there for a certain period of time. And then, and only then, can we actually go to the surface. So this dive right now has finally come to an end.
You're all going to pass through there eventually, you know, and we waited today 5 or 6 minutes, and you think maybe what the hell are we waiting here for? And then 1, 2, another one came around the back, and they're going to come through there.
The one came around the back. I was watching these one over here, and then I look around, and there's a big one right next to me.
Yeah, kind of swam together, and like one would turn, dancing, fully dancing.
Whoa, I felt like a mouse.
Did you know the number of species of ocean fish are estimated to range up to 40,000? The largest number of fish are in the southern hemisphere. For the winners of the SMS quiz and Ginkman contest, watch the scrolling text below or go to Starwaves.tv after the show. For more information on how you can enjoy learning English while also exploring coral reefs, dolphins, and sharks, go to Starwaves.tv and click on the Read the Sea program.
Now, if you have any questions or comments about today's show, just send us an email to starwaves.tv.
Let's take an email from the viewer.
This is one of my favorite parts of the show. Now, we have an email here from George Haberman. He's a teacher way out on the island of Saipan, which is in the Western Pacific. Now, George wants to know here, how do schools out in the Pacific Islands participate in our live interactive adventure learning shows on the internet?
That's easy. Go to starwaves.tv and log on to Adventure Learning. You'll find all the information and schedules for all the live interactive.
Well, thanks for joining us in today's show. We had a great time.
Yeah.
We look forward to seeing you in the next episode of the Starwaves Explorer series.
Bye-bye.